Now that you've been enrolled in a few teachers' Google Classrooms, let's take a look at how they might be structured. I've gone back to Google Classroom. In my case, I just went to classroom.google.com. But if you're on a Chromebook, you could look for the Google Classroom app in the bottom of the screen, or click on the circle icon in the bottom left-hand corner, or even look for a colored waffle somewhere on the screen. Either way, you should be able to find the Classroom app in any of those locations. Or when all else fails, you can always just open the Chrome browser and go to classroom.google.com. And as long as you're signed into your school account, you'll be brought to something that looks like this. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the only class that I'm enrolled in. Now from here, there are 3 tabs, maybe a 4th, that you need to take a look at. The first tab is the Stream tab. This is where your teacher will post any kind of communication or announcements. Very rarely will you find work to do on the Stream tab. The second tab from the left is the Classwork tab. This is the most commonly used tab in Google Classroom. Students should visit this every single day to know what is due and what's been assigned and at what pace should you be completing it. From here, you'll probably find a structure listed by topics, and each of those topics will most likely be the week of school. And within those, you should find assignments or reference materials probably listed out by the day that the teacher wants you to open them. So check the Classwork tab every single day. And if you ever do not know what you're supposed to be clicking on, please ask your teacher. Do not wait for weeks on end until it's a struggle to get caught back up. Advocate for yourself and ask your teacher immediately if you ever do not know what to click on. The last 2 tabs are often not referenced by students. The People tab, students very rarely click on, and the Grades tab, which is not visible for me at the moment. Many teachers will not keep grades in Google Classroom. Don't worry if you don't see that tab, or if you do but your teacher never uses it, because it is very common for teachers to also have to maintain grades somewhere else on another tool, say Infinite Campus, PowerSchool, or Skyward. So it doesn't necessarily help to keep grades here as well. So again, don't be worried if your teacher does not use the last 2 tabs, the People tab or the Grades tab. Let's go back to the Classwork tab, since that is so commonly used by students. Now on the Classwork tab, again, you'll see all of the work you have to do or the materials that you'll need to read, understand, or watch to understand what you're supposed to be learning in that class. There are 3 additional buttons just under the tabs that you might want to take a look at. The View Your Work button will show you the work that's been assigned, returned, and missing. This can be very helpful as the quarter or semester goes on. Then notice you also have access to your own custom Google Calendar for this course. So if you look over here on the far left, I now have a brand new Google Calendar. If you have a mobile device, or your parents do, you might want to consider installing Google Calendar on your mobile device and then sign in with your school credentials. That way, all of your due dates will show up on a calendar and give you some very helpful reminders when things are coming due. Then lastly, you also have a link to your class drive folder. To be honest, most students use Google Drive. They go to Google Drive or visit drive.google.com and find their coursework that way. But just know that you can also access course materials by clicking on the class drive folder. That will bump you over to Google Drive, where you'll be able to access all the content for your particular course that you're enrolled in. The only last thing I want to mention would be in the top left-hand corner. You'll find the To-Do button. The To-Do button will be very handy because it will outline all the things you still have to do and the things you've completed for that particular class. So there you go. That's a quick overview of how to use your Google Classroom.